Hey there, superstars. It is Vanessa here again, your speaker, trainer, and coach from Live, Love, Give. And today I'm bringing you a message all around a really main piece of the puzzle that so many people I'm seeing are kind of missing the boat on this one. And I can definitely see how myself personally has missed the boat on this one as well. So I'm really excited about sharing this message for you guys today, and it was definitely triggered by a coaching session that I had this morning, my time, which just reminded me of this pattern that we can all kind of get caught up in, and it creates this kind of pattern of us like really putting in so much effort, energy, emotional drain, trying to get a particular result, but we actually haven't taken a step back and really made sure that we can actually win the game that we're actually trying to play. And that's why I'm super excited about sharing this message with you guys, which is all around the fact that until you believe in the possibility of your future being more compelling than your past, any attempts to feel fulfillment in your life will be completely futile. You know, it will just be a complete waste of your time. And really what I want to dive into with you guys today is it's the belief, you know, it's my favorite quote in the world, you know, that Henry Ford quote that whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. I like to kind of talk into it as whether you believe that you can or you can't, you're right. It's so true. And what kind of came up in the pattern that was kind of coming up in a coaching session that I was doing with a beautiful human being that I'm super inspired by and grateful that I get to work with. But what was coming up in that coaching session was that, you know, they were really wanting to create a compelling future. But then when I got them to talk into, you know, what was inspiring, you know, it kept coming back to the fact that they were never going to, everything was going to be second best. To what they've had in the past, nothing was ever going to match up to, you know, that inspiration, that connection to their soul, as they would put it. They felt like that had a solid, strong belief that they've been carrying around for probably about 30 years, that they're never going to even come close to the level of fulfillment and inspiration and passion and fulfillment. I think I said that twice, you know, in their life that they experienced many, many years ago. And we all have these different stories. And yes, absolutely, some of our stories are very realistic and true. You know, in particular for this beautiful human being, they had suffered an injury that prevented them from venturing down the same path that they had experienced that level of fulfillment with. But the fact of the matter is, we can, you know, go all day, all night, really trying to work on you creating a compelling future for yourself. But if you have a story that you're consistently telling yourself, and you have done for a long period of time, that nothing's ever going to be as good as that, everything's going to be second best compared to that, then that's what you're going to get. So you're never going to feel like anything is ever good enough. You're always going to be yearning for the past and not that excited or compelled about anything in your future. It doesn't inspire anybody to move forward and live into their highest potential when you think your highest potential was back there somewhere in the past and you're out of control of your life and there's nothing you can do about it and it's been and gone. You know, what sort of life are you going to be living from here on out with that kind of belief? Nothing is ever going to match up to what you think and what you fantasize about the past. And how can you compete with what's been? You know, you can't change it. Like, all you've got is right here, right now, and where you want to go to. Your intentions, your direction, your belief in the potentiality and the possibility of experiencing something much, much, much more extraordinary than you ever have in the past. And this is what is the key to making the difference between those people who absolutely live into their highest potential and their true level of fulfillment versus those who think it's been and gone and just play out the rest of their life just existing rather than thriving and feeling that sense of aliveness. So it comes down to the belief, because everything that you experience in your life is made up in here. So two different people can have the exact same experience, both have this tremendous fulfillment from some activity that they do as a young person, sustain an injury that wipes that opportunity out of their life in the same exact precise way. And one person can decide, well, that's it. I'm never going to experience that level of fulfillment again. Life is happening to me. I can't change it. I can't fix this injury. That's it for me. Everything's going to be second best from here. That's one set of results in your future, in your life, in your present moment, everything. And then the same person who's gone through different person who's gone through the same experience, but has a different mindset. And they think, wow, okay, I've sustained this injury. This thing has changed the path for me. I've got this major obstacle. And okay, I get that we might have periods in our life where we have to go through different sets of coping strategies, and absolutely not just be positive, and just forget about how we actually really feel about things. We have to go through the process. But this person over here decides, okay, that avenue of reaching that level of fulfillment and inspiration and, what I feel like when I'm being most me, that avenue has now disappeared. How can I be smart enough, intelligent enough, creative enough to find a new pathway, and the multitude of different pathways that will allow me to access new levels of inspiration and fulfillment and authenticity? Because who this beautiful human being was back when they were 18 years old is not who they are today, with all of their brilliant life experience, their wisdom, their growth, their evolution. Who they were back then is so different to who they are now, at say 50 years old, where it's you can't compare that. And who you were back then, you were, finding that level of fulfillment based on your personal experience. But what about now? What about everything that you've experienced? What about everything that you've been through? What about everything that you've learned about yourself, humanity? What about your evolution? Who are you now? Because you're different to that person, all those years ago. And so who you are now, and this is exactly why I don't believe in just this one thing in your life, and until you find this one thing, you're not living on purpose and you don't have fulfillment and you don't have any meaning in your life. I really do believe that sense of purpose and that meaning and that inspiration is an evolution, just as you're evolving. When you're 18 years old, you're pretty inspired by probably different things than you are, say now, say you're 30. I know that's very, very true for me. And, who I'm going to be at 40, 50, 60, I know that it's a constant evolution, and I'm not locking myself into this one avenue of fulfillment and all else is second best. I'm finding different ways in which I experience true fulfillment, and I'm always growing and I'm always learning, and I really take heed of what Tony Robbins would say in terms of what makes fulfillment, which is the combination of personal progress, feeling like you are growing and just stepping the needle forward personally. Doesn't have to be this huge, big growth thing. It's just the sense that you are progressing in some way, coupled with a sense of meaningful contribution. You're feeling like you're adding value to other people. You're contributing in some way, whether it's just to the closest people to you in your life, or it's bigger than that, whatever it is. But fulfillment comes from a sense of growth and progression towards something that compels you, coupled with a sense of contribution, that your life matters, that you can make a meaningful difference in some individual, unique way. And you've got it. Every single one of us has something brilliant on offer to other human beings. I like to think about humanity as kind of being this puzzle. We're all these different puzzle pieces. We're all unique to the next. But when we fit together, we bring something different to the table based on our experiences and where we came from and who we really are. That's why I do the work that I do. It's all about helping you to identify who you really are without the filters, the expectations, society's rules, your parents' rules, whoever's rules, your own rules that are just not in alignment with the truth of who you are, whatever they are, and actually escaping that and stepping into strength and courage and, your true authentic core with your unique gifts, and discovering what you're most inspired by, because inspiration is your fuel. You can't sustain life and fulfillment and an enjoyable life that is worth living if you're just kind of scraping it together with trying to stay motivated, which is from the external internal. You've got to rely on some external source or force to get you into action in some regard. If you need external motivation, you can guarantee you're not tapping into that internal inspiration. And that's what you should make it your life's mission, to be constantly discovering new realms of your internal inspiration and following it. Because anything is possible when you tap into enough meaning and inspiration from within. And when you get really connected to something, nothing can stop you. You become unstoppable. But when you're just relying on external, what do people want? What should I do? What gets approval? What gets love? What gets all these different things, and it's at the expense of your truth, then nothing is ever going to be good enough, and you're going to continue to run the same old patterns, the same old cycle of, just kind of not ever getting there, nothing ever being good enough. And don't get stuck in the trap and the pattern that most of us get into at some point down the line, which is, putting all this energy and effort towards changing and making some shifts and changes, but in actual fact, you don't believe in the potentiality of anything being more extraordinary than what's already been. You think it's all downhill, so you're never going to win. It doesn't matter what effort you go to. If that's your mentality and that's your belief that you can't have something better than what you've had, that's what you're going to get. So the best strategy you can ever take towards your fulfillment is to believe in the possibility of your future being even better than it's ever been. And if you can tap into that and believe it, you can absolutely, most definitely achieve it, because you'll tap into the inspiration that is the only fuel possible to get you towards a compelling future. It's your belief and your inspiration combined. So, really hoping that this is of value to you guys. Hope it's resonating. Hope it might be a little bit of a wake-up call to those of you out there who just feel like you're just kind of running on the spot, and you feel like you're putting in a lot of effort, but you're not really getting anywhere, or you make a little bit of traction and then you just don't feel like it's good enough. I guarantee you've got some limiting beliefs there that need absolutely your attention. You need to tap into that inspired path and work out what's limiting you, what's holding you back. You've got to shift your beliefs if you want to achieve something inspiring. So hoping that that's resonating with you guys. So let me check in with you guys. Have you got any questions or comments or words of wisdom that you'd love to share with us? I'd love for you to drop a comment below. I'm in Milan. I've had the biggest, craziest day, cruising around all sorts of different places, checking it out. And tomorrow, I just got home from dinner, and tomorrow I'm off to a castle, and I'm off to see some Leonardo da Vinci museums, and that guy's got museums like in every city in Italy. It's crazy, but there's a reason for it, obviously. But yes, I can't wait to share that experience with you guys, and let me check in. I've got Rose and Namia, and loving that this is resonating with you, Namia. I hope I'm saying your name right. And Yabaz is here, and Alexandria, yay, my beautiful spirit sister, of course. And Jen's here, awesome. Love it. And Iqbal and Moin and Karim and Ramon and Jen, you always need to be manifesting a brilliant future. Abso-friggin-lutely. And I know I keep talking about it, but I'm so excited about going to my silent meditation retreat, which I think I've been talking about for like at least 2 months by now. But yeah, that's one of my intentions with going into that silent meditation retreat, is to get crystal clear on the kind of future, the kind of brilliant future I want to take it to the next level with. So I can't wait to share what I'm discovering with that, with all of you guys. And I could not agree more, Jen, absolutely. And George is here, and of course Huss is in the house. I love it. And Fawzi, bonjour. getting me prepared for my my French. I'll be stepping into France on the 1st of October, so I've got a couple more days here in Italy and been traveling around for over a month. So really, it's been amazingly brilliant. Actually, we're just at dinner working out that I think we've visited 8 different states or provinces here in Italy, which is pretty cool. I think I've also done Italy, so maybe I've done 9, and I think there might be 18, but I might be getting it wrong. But we've done a lot this trip, so it's been pretty incredible. And but yeah, really looking forward to getting into France, one of my favorite countries in the world, so that's awesome. And Darren's here, and Gabrielle, hello, and Chris is here, awesome to see you. And Brian, hello Vanessa, do you believe we can change our past by looking at it in a different way? Maybe by changing the ... still killing me, my iPad. I'm thinking that you're going to say maybe by changing the meaning. And absolutely, Brian, I completely would say yes. So nothing, like Tony Robbins would say, nothing has any meaning other than the meaning that you put on it, right? But also, the past no longer exists. The future doesn't yet exist. All you actually have and have to experience in reality is this present moment, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And so what makes up our experience of life is what we're thinking and believing in our brains in this present moment. So when we think about the past, we're in our minds. We are reflecting back on past memories. They don't actually exist in reality. They're and actually rewrite it, but we absolutely can create a different meaning, exactly what you're saying there, Brian. And that in turn creates a different experience. It changes the past when we change the meaning that we bestow on it. And, you know, like some people will think, oh, but the past, that really happened, and this is how you should feel about it. But I'm more of a believer of, yeah, okay, that happened, but what I choose to think and believe about what happened in the past right here, right now, is going to generate either suffering or freedom. So what do I want? And I choose to believe that which will provide me with freedom and energize and motivate me towards my future, rather than drain me, you know, and make me feel like I'm out of control of my life and just going around and around in my head about past memories, which are literally just memories, and bringing them into my present moment, which your present moment is determining your future. So what are the thoughts? What are you thinking and believing? Value to you there, Brian, and I'm so sorry I can't read your rest of your message. Gonna have to try to do something about it. It's always when I'm on the iPad, and I've even downloaded the update, so I don't know, I'll work it out. But thanks so much, Brian, and hit me up if I missed something at the end of your comment that would have been of value. So I appreciate that. And Amy's here, and Scott, much love to you, and Karan, and Jen, absolutely, you are so on point. I love hearing that, Jen. Love that this is resonating, and can't read your name, but I'm super grateful that you're here. It's an Arabic name, I think, so much love to you, great to have you. And Liam's here, and Alexandria. Also, oh, I think I got your whole message. Also, if we are living in the past, we may be blocking receptivity of new opportunities and connections. You got it, girlfriend. Absolutely, like I like to say. So yeah, so this is the challenge, right? So living in the past and reminiscing about the past, I like to think that there's only 2 reasons that you should ever go back into your past. And when you do go back in your past, myself off from opportunities, connections, just fulfillment in general, your progress, your potential, everything. So just know that if you're dwelling in the past and in particular thinking that it's better than what the future could ever be, you are completely sabotaging your whole life, your fulfillment. It is costing you your potential. To me, life is not worth living if you're going to have that kind of mentality. You know, you can only go forward from here, so you might as well create the mindset that propels you towards your highest potential, towards that personal progress, and also a sense of contribution. That's fulfillment, and living in the past in your brain is just kind of insane. So I love that, and that kind of rhymed. So I love that, Alexandria and Scott. Suffering, you're right. I need internal work, not external focus, I'm gonna guess. Sorry, I can't see the rest of your message there. And Chris, so much love for you, my friend. You know, we're human beings, right? We're gonna have those times in our life where we really beat up on ourselves. You know, we have these really high expectations on ourselves. We can't meet our own standards, and we just end up not loving ourselves. I was actually having a really great conversation with somebody in my life last night who was saying that they'd been really angry at themselves recently, and kind of making the realization that they hadn't been living up to the expectations on themselves. But I know personally, this person in my life, like, they do not respond well to pain. Pain does not motivate them. They respond really well to pleasure, to happiness, to joy, right? And so I kind of reflected that a little bit back to them, like without taking on my coaching mode, because they're not a coaching client, you know, and just kind of reflected that. And I so appreciate you sharing and talking into the human experience, and I love that you are owning that. I love that you know that when we don't love ourselves and treat ourselves beautifully, you know, we create our own suffering. So I definitely be looking at what are these expectations that you're placing on yourself that you're not living up to. Who is the real you, and how can you live in integrity with that, and how can you be kind to yourself? I have a brilliant question that I tell everybody who'll listen, which is, you know, always be asking yourself the question, what is the most self-loving thing that I could do in this moment? Listen to the answer and align with that response. And when you do that, and you're always operating from the most self-loving thing to do here, you won't, you know, most people think, oh, but if I drop the game, I'm too nice to myself, I won't be like, you know, motivated to get into action and achieve and hustle and whatever. But the opposite is actually true. You know, think about when somebody appreciates you and they encourage you and they tell you what you're doing amazingly well, and you feel built up and you want to live up to a higher expectation, you know, because they're seeing that good and it makes you feel good, versus somebody who's just criticizing you and judging you no matter how much effort you put in, and all they're doing is bringing you down and not appreciating how far you've come. You know, how motivated or inspired are you to do anything with that person? The same thing happens with your relationship with yourself. You know, treat yourself like you want to be treated. That would really inspire the best out of you. And definitely hit that question up. What is the most self-loving thing that I could do in this moment, and follow through with integrity and stay in alignment with you, my friend. And, you know, I'm a big believer that it's hard to love yourself when you're not being yourself. So make sure that you are absolutely tapping into that internal world and operating from the inside out rather than the outside in. So much love for you, Chris. I hope that was of help, my friend. And sorry, I could only see a small snippet of your comment. And Jen, great little cafe up above the Da Vinci Museum. Awesome. Thanks for letting me know. There's kind of, I think there's at least two. There's the Leonardo da Vinci vineyard that I'm going to tomorrow. And then there's this other one that's in the Galleria. I think it's, I don't know. It's like a 3D one. So I don't know. So let me know which one, Jen. I love it. I think I'm going to go to both anyway. So I'll check out the cafes. I like a good cafe. And Harry, hello to you. And Linda, love to see you. Thanks, Vanessa. Always lovely to see you, beautiful Linda. Thanks for being here. And Jackie, white out a direction forward. We will always return to what we know, even if we didn't like it. Yeah, so maybe write out a direction forward. Okay, so what I'm picking up from what you're putting down there, Jackie, see if I got it right, is that if we don't create a compelling future forward for us, something that really inspires us, that's in total alignment with the truth of who we are, our highest values, what matters most meaningful to us, if we don't create that compelling future, coupled with a belief in the possibility of realizing that potential and that certain, right, then actually have fulfillment. So that's why we can oftentimes rewrite the past, and you know, even if we didn't like it, like you're saying there, Jackie, because of our need for certainty. It's scary to venture into the unknown, into a new possible reality that we've never experienced before, but actually that's where our fulfillment is, because we've again got to be growing. The way we grow is to venture into uncertainty, into the unknown. We can't grow and progress in just where we are all the time. We've got to step forward. We've got to step out and break away from our need for certainty by coupling it with a belief in the potentiality of something extraordinary in our future that we can create and get intentional about. And a really great book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers, and the whole thesis of that is to have that belief in yourself that you will always figure it out no matter what life throws at you. If you can have that and generate that kind of depth of belief and trust within yourself, you can do anything, and you can create and believe in a compelling future for yourself. So hope that was in alignment, and I was picking up what you were putting down there, Jackie, and I so appreciate you sharing here and being here. And Huss, hi V, I'm currently reading a book called Goal Free Living. I'm loving it. It's pretty close to what you're sharing here. Oh, I love hearing that. I'll have to check it out. I love that, Huss. You just know my issues on here so well. For some reason, I think I can get 2 lines out of your messages. So I got your full message. I so appreciate you, Huss. And Sparky, good morning to you. I'm waking up to your beautiful smile. Oh, thank you, Sparky. And I'm about to go to sleep with your beautiful kindness. I so appreciate you being here. And Ramon, thank you, Vanessa. We are our own motivation. Yeah, absolutely. So instead of relying on those external motivating factors like people, money, anything external, make sure that it's always coming from the internal. And I like to refer to as, you know, that internal motivation as your inspiration and the motivation being the external. So Absolutely, Ramon. I completely agree. And Chris, amazing. Thank you, V. You're so welcome, Chris. I so appreciate you being here and love that was a value. And Huss, I love that you're pep talking with Chris. Love all your connections. Oh, you guys know how much I love that. And Fredo's here, and Sanford, hello to you. And awesome. So I'm really hoping that today's message all around the fact that until you believe that your future is going to be better than your past, any action that you're taking towards creating a better future, if you don't actually believe that it's going to be better than what you've had, it's just not going to get you anywhere. So make sure that you're not running the same old pattern that so many of us can do with trying to, like, you're kind of just running on the spot and burning yourself out, you know, trying to get somewhere, but you haven't taken a moment to get some clarity and align your beliefs with a possible future. Because if you don't believe in creating that, if you don't believe you can get there, if you don't believe it's going to be better than what you've experienced in the past, you're actually never going to make it, and nothing's ever going to be good enough. And that is a life just lived filled with regret, no fulfillment, and to me that is a completely wasted life when we realize that our entire experience is generated right here with us right now, and we have the power to make the shifts and changes in our beliefs, in our thinking, and therefore in our action taking. All right, hope this is of value to you guys, and as always, I'm sending you guys all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I hope it's beautiful, amazing, extraordinary, all that great stuff, and I really hope that today's message has served you, has resonated with you, and I